Hey there, and welcome YouTube community. I'll see if anybody's gonna pop in and catch this here. I'll just wait a couple seconds. I'm gonna do some live responses for some tubers that are doing contests. Just, man, pressed for time lately, so doing the videos. It's just been, hey, Eloy, what's up? How are you tonight? See, I got somebody to show up. Bound to happen. So, anyway, I'm gonna do response videos for uh, Ground Chuck, Carter's Kids, and Up North Collectors. Hey, Tux Cards, how are you doing? So, all right, I'm gonna run through and I'll knock out the contest responses, and then we can all chat. Hey there, Sam, how are you? I figured you'd be bored and be willing to show up. It's like you're always one to count on to show up for some live feeds. Of course, I am too sometimes. So, anyway, um, first I'm going to do the Ground Chuck response first. He had his 200 subscriber Mendoza line contest, and so working on getting to 200 subscribers. And I have to tell you, it's like, I know we all do this, and I don't want to disparage anybody's channel or anything like that, but we compare ourselves to each other and things like that, I'm sure. And I'm sure everybody's like seen somebody else's channel and they look at like the number of subscribers and compare it to theirs, and they think, man, how does that guy got that many more subscribers than how does he have 3 times as many people that watch him than I do? And then you've got people like, I look at Kyle Ground Chuck, who's a great channel, and he doesn't have even as many subscribers as I do. And I'm like, you people are doing this wrong if you people are watching me and not him, because he's got some great stuff, and the fact that more people aren't watching him just perplexes the heck out of me. And yep, he's definitely a cool guy. I definitely agree with that. So anyway, he's talk about his awesome Dawson collection for days if I wanted to. And, as far as a member of the community, is just, top notch individual that. So it's like, this community is filled with lots of great collectors and a lot of guys that are even better people than they are collectors. And Kyle's definitely a guy that fits in that class. Definitely first class. So, hey, Steve, good to see you. I'm going to be doing a contest response for you too, so you'll want to watch for that. Doing Kyle's first. So, favorite team, Chicago Cubs, or Nebraska Cornhuskers if we're going anything besides baseball. And the Mendoza line player. This one, hey, Cuban Collector and Dustin Abraham, good to see you, DA. Um, I, man, I really tried to think hard on this one, and I was looking at guys that, just bad hitters, but were, decent defensive players. And I didn't think it was fair to, pick some guys that, might have had really bad batting averages, but only played in like 30, 40 games. Because I thought part of, what made Mendoza special is the fact that they kept rolling him out there every day, even though you knew he was, best case scenario was like 1 for 5 a lot of days. So I tried to, really look at guys that were at least getting, somewhere, more than 80, 90 games played. And it was tough to really find some guys that I thought were terrible that, going back and you look at their averages, they weren't quite as bad as you expected. And I think that's part of, the whole thing with the Mendoza line that he talked about. The definition was it was like that threshold where their hitting is so incompetent that it diminishes their value no matter what else they're good at. And I think, it kind of shows it's that teams are pretty good at determining that. And you just can't be in that low 200s for very long and just keep getting starts. There's just not a lot of guys that, when you look at it, get that many starts if they're not hitting in that number. So some guys I looked at, it was like Doug DeCenzo was one that I remembered really well, and he had some awful seasons when he was playing in 40, 45 games. Hey, Sebastian, sorry, I'm trying to go through these. Smitty, hey, to you too. And just awful, but it's like when he was actually in the lineup every day, his batting average was actually in the 240s, 250s, which is at least, respectable. And so there was that, and there was like Ray Ordonez, Ray Sanchez, and Ronnie Cedeno were ones that I remembered just, had kind of some awful seasons in there. But, for the most part, career numbers were kind of in there. And so it was like the best one I could come up with, really that's as good as any of those is a guy that's playing right now, and that's Addison Russell. He's a guy whose career batting average is under 240, and right now he's hitting 215, and that's really got to the point why he's been replaced in the lineup by Daniel Murphy. We want to talk about Daniel Murphy. It's like, I'll get on a tangent here. It's like, I'm still not cool with that guy. I don't care how many hits he gets for the Cubs. Never going to be cool with that guy after the things he did to the Cubs a couple years ago in the NLCS. I just can't be there. And it's like, I just can't do it. I can't cheer for him because I spent too many games that playoff system. It's like just wanting somebody to drill his ass in the ribs rather than pitch to him. Okay, enough with that tangent. And then other thing that Kyle asked was all-time favorite player. As far as that all-time, Roberto Clemente is kind of my favorite. If you kind of narrow it to guys that I actually saw play, though, sometimes that's a little more appropriate. I think I'm the same as a lot of guys in my generation, and that it's going to be Griffey. Although I liked Barry Bonds a lot more than most other people that I knew during the time period liked him. He's a guy that suddenly it was like it's weird. Barry's arc, it's, at least from what I've observed, it was like he was very unpopular for a long time, then got popular, really as the home runs just soared, and then all of a sudden it was in vogue to just absolutely hate him with a passion. Hey, Jack, good to see you. And so that was kind of a just kind of a strange arc and now he's getting more popular again, it seems to me. So go figure with that. So, okay, there is Kyle's. Then next up, I'll do Up North Collectors, and he's got 2,000 subs. So what I was talking about as far as you wonder why some people have way more of the subscribers than you, actually that is not the case at all with you guys. I get it completely. You guys have an awesome channel, and I'm just amazed at how fast that your channel is taken off. It's really extraordinary, and you guys do a good job. I really enjoy the byplay between you and your son. It's just fun to watch. your son is basically the same age as my oldest son, and he, sits here on a lot of my videos, but you very seldom really, of all three of my kids, he's probably the one you see and hear from the least, because the younger two, they're more than happy to jump in there and be vocal and be on camera and that, but he's just like, nope, not at all. So it's just kind of, I kind of enjoy, watching that dynamic between the two of you. So here we go. He'd asked us who we were going to pick for the World Series. I'm picking the Cubs because I'm a homer and I don't care to pick anybody else. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? I'm going to say I'd like to pick the Patriots just because it caused the most angst and make the most people miserable, which is always funny to me. So I'll do that. And then, but actually, I'm going to go like completely out of the box with mine and do a homer pick. So I am going to pick the Jacksonville Jaguars. That Blake Bortles is going to get replaced at quarterback by former Husker Tanner Lee, and he's going to guide him through the playoffs as rookie quarterback and to a victory over the Detroit Lions with Amir Abdullah scoring like 4 touchdowns in the game. So there you go. Okay, Bobby's going to unsub me for my Jags pick. All right. But hey, like I said, it's a homer pick. We're doing it. Because it really doesn't matter to me who wins the Super Bowl. There's nobody that I used, when I was a kid, I thought I was a Broncos fan, and then it was like after Elway retired, I really realized it was like I was a bigger fan of him than I ever was the Broncos, and I just didn't find myself really caring whether they won or lost on Sunday anymore. And so, no, I'm located in Nebraska. I'm not. No, I'm just just on, hey, because a Cornhusker could be the starting quarterback. No, they're still going with Bortles, but that was my prediction that, hey, yeah, they're going to bench him and they're going to put in they're going to put in Tanner Lee. So it's probably as ridiculous as a pick as anything that anybody on ESPN will come with. So yeah, it's probably not. I'm sure he's like third or first string. He did get a play in one of the preseason games, and it didn't go well. I mean, he dropped back like 13 times and got sacked 5 times and fumbled twice, lost one of them. Yeah, so I mean, it was a terrible, terrible showing. So it's like I have absolutely no rational basis for any of this. So. So anyway, okay. Last one I'm gonna do is for Steve Carter's Kids, another great channel, another outstanding guy, and a member of our community, and kind of doing these response videos. I was kind of taking care of his criteria, which was he wanted us to talk about one other channel, and I'm doing 3 really, and telling you why I watch them. So, and because they all do great stuff for what they do. They're all absolutely different channels. Kyle and Steve have some crossover in that they do player collecting. Steve with Gary Carter and Kyle with Andre Dawson, but Kyle's more diverse than Steve in his collecting, and then the guys with Up North, it's a completely different thing, and there's so much diversity there just in those guys and the things that they do. So, and I'm sorry, I'm not keeping up at all with comments. So he's about done. Okay, so all right, but I just kind of wanted to get all of those, and Up North did want shout outs too, but I given 2 shout outs for those 2, so everybody should be taken care of. So got contest responses for those, and so those they're all good. I saw Mark in Kentucky's got one on top 10 movies ones, and I may get that one knocked out later, but I got to think about that one a little bit. But okay, Jack asking about family. Family's good. Kids are back in school. The oldest is a band geek, and playing in the marching band. I had to go watch high school football the other night, just be watching the band play at halftime, and his wife's got a new job that she's starting, and so she's been working nights since back before our youngest was born. Just because daycare costs and everything is just saves you so much money to be able to have one parent home and not put your kids in daycare all the time. And now that they're all in school, to be able to go to actually work day shift, so it's kind of nice. So who kept me warm at night? Yeah. Yeah, we won't get into this. Okay. Yeah, you're starting night. You're starting nights. Yeah. Well, see, she's getting out of nights now, so that's a good thing. She's been on days now for a couple of weeks, and it's like you got to get used to the new job, but it's not taking her long to get used to the new schedule at all. So, but it changes up my dynamic, because I used to just be able to do my videos after she went to work. It's like I'd get the kids before they went to bed. It's like, hey, we're going to shoot a video. We'd set up and we'd shoot the video, and then they'd go off bed for the night. And it's just weird. I just don't like normally doing videos really when she's home. She's asleep tonight, so I just decided I'd knock it out while everybody was off in bed. So it's just harder for me to do them when she's around, because it's like she's not into the YouTube thing that I do at all. She really looks at me sideways and crazy that I have friends from the internet that I talk about baseball cards with. It's just a really weird thing for her. Although I did it to some degree even before I got on YouTube, where I talk cards with some guys from Net54, which was an online forum for baseball cards, but it was, but I didn't connect with anybody, to the same degrees that I connected and spend time with a lot of you. It's like, Dustin Abraham, I think I probably talk to him by text more often than I do my own brother. I mean, it's like he's, and there's other guys that, I talk to you guys on a more frequent basis, and, and have, conversations about, my collection and stuff. It's like, it's like real friends that, supposedly you've known your whole life. Is in some ways the connection's different, in, that these friendships and things get formed just in a short amount of time, and without even really knowing each other. It's just kind of it's an amazing thing, and it's like I'm really happy that I kind of stumbled into it and found my way part of it. So it's I'm reading your comment, DA, about the helmet, and that softened your wife's heart. Yeah, I'm sure that that probably went a long way. It's like I think that probably opened the door for the going to the national probably as much as anything. I think so. That's a big goal. I want to be able to go to the national next year. Definitely want to be a part of that and enjoy that. So. Uh, Sorry, I'm trying to read comments as I do this. I'm not used. I don't know. I do every now and then. It's like I do these live sessions, but I am not polished at it by any means. It's like I don't know how Steve manages to do it and talk for 2 hours or more, and try and facilitate a conversation doing it. Uh, But anyway, anybody else got anything cool to talk about? I can tell you how annoyed I am with college football right now since my Huskers got rained out by, lightning and thunderstorm last night. No game to be had. Supposedly they were trying to work it out with Fox and the team. They were going to play Akron, that the team to be able to have the team hold over overnight and play the game this morning, which it seems that they really could have been that close to doing. But Fox even put it on the crawl that was what was going to happen after the game, and then almost immediately that got pulled off, and then they acted like it never happened and never said, hey, yeah, we totally messed that up and we're sorry, that was bad information. They just acted like it didn't exist, and they would just say, oh yeah, the game's been canceled and there's no makeup date. It's like, well, what the hell, there was that stuff that was there, you had it listed there on your screen, and now you just want to act like it didn't exist. And the university wasn't putting out any information at first at all. It's just up in the air. And so there are lots of people that I know that were at the game. It's like they left the game thinking it was canceled, but then they got to their cars and everybody was telling them, yeah, it's going to be played tomorrow. And they're like, what? And then almost before they could even try and make alternate plans to maybe be able to attend tomorrow, they're finding out, no, it's actually canceled. There's some people I think went to bed last night thinking the game was going to be played today, and then woke up this morning and found out, no, it's not. So it was just a bad situation, the way it was handled. Not something that reflects well, because it's like, it sounds cold and when you saying it out loud like this, but pretty much, I'm 40 years old. In my entire adult life, if a sporting event matters, it gets played. When you think about the history, it's like earthquakes, natural disasters, hurricanes, even terrorist attacks. It's like they get the games in, except for, just unless it's just so inconsequential that nobody cares enough about it to have it happen. And, growing up, it's like Nebraska football has always mattered. And now it's like apparently we're in a position where we don't matter enough that this game can just get canceled. And to me, that's kind of disheartening. So it's like, I guess that's something that, roof collapse, they played the game. And that's what I was saying. It's like, heck, even if they'd had to play the game like in an empty stadium like they did for Major League Baseball last year during the riots in Baltimore, that, at least that's better than canceling the game outright. I know fans would be mad that they paid for tickets and then there was a game and they couldn't attend it, but it's like you can make that up to them at least, but it's like you should get the game in. And it's like in the grand scheme of things, well, it doesn't matter a whole lot, but hey, team goes 5-6 and Are they going to miss out on a bowl because they didn't play this game against Akron, which would have been a win? Which it's like, yeah, okay. It's like that's another story. It's just sad enough that that's something the Nebraska football to actually have to worry about. So it's it's like growing up, never actually considered, oh, you got to actually worry about Nebraska actually making a bowl game. It was like he just wrote it up. It was like 9, 10 wins. That was just what was gonna happen. All right, so I'm boring you guys because I am dropping viewers fast here. When I was doing the shout outs and the responses, we were up to 12, and it's like we're just dwindling down here to 6. So thanks for sticking around, the ones of you that showed up. I don't know, anybody else got any topics they want to hear me pontificate about? I'll offer my thoughts. Just no politics. It's a natural flow of turnover for life. Okay, well, I'll take your word for it, Steve. I guess, yeah, you notice it's like most of the time it's like I come on, I tend to just kind of stick around throughout most of it. I guess maybe I'm the weird one on that. That it's like I tend to, unless I absolutely can't. Sometimes life comes up and we got to drop off. But for the most part, when I join a feed, I like to really stick around and be a part of it for most of it. Although some of these auctions I can't do that on. I mean, nobody can stick around for 6 hours all the time. That's just it's like I don't know how anybody runs an auction for 6 hours. It's like I'd be bored with myself. it's like it's like it's like I'm tired of talking, listening to my own voice. It's like I don't want why anybody wants to listen to mine for another minute. 4 hours tops and I'm done. See, we haven't even gone 30 minutes, so we're not. What is currently your favorite pickup of the calendar year? Good question. Calendar year. So in January. Had some good ones recently. I've gotten one that I need to show in my next pickup video. That is a card from 1912 that features a native Nebraskan on it, Sam Crawford, who's a Hall of Famer, and that one is really important to my collection. I've also gotten a Cal Yastrzemski card that I won in an auction just last night. I haven't even paid for that one yet, but that it's a really cool looking card and pretty rare, so it's up there as well. Trying to think. I've had a lot of cool some cool Clemente pickups. I'm trying to remember if any which ones would be this year. Probably like my 66 Topps Clemente was one of my favorites that I got. No, though probably the 57 Clemente is probably my favorite Clemente pickup of the past year. Then I had a Tris Speaker game card. That was pretty cool too. So I mean, it's like you're asking me. It's like what trait of your kids is your favorite? It's like there's too many things to mention to try and pick one favorite for me. I can never. I'm terrible with that. So. Was the TTM Nowitzki. That was pretty cool. I I remember watching that video. That was a really cool video, Sebastian. And that's just another one of the pretty awesome stuff that happens in this community. And it's like just just really cool stuff. And yep, you're right, Steve, because we're back up to viewership again. So it's like, hey, turnover. I guess it was one of those things. So anyway, I suppose I went live so people can be happy about that, and so you all got a chance to BS together for a little while. But I should start getting ready for bed, and I will talk to you all another night. Take care, everyone. Bye.